Another government body has been named in connection with the banknote bribery scandal, joining the Reserve Bank's part-owned banknotes firm Securency and the wholly-owned Note Printing Australia is Austrade. The trade organisation confirmed one of its employees has been questioned by the Australian Federal Police, but says no criminal charges have been laid. Corporate governance experts say the issue is a huge embarrassment for the Reserve Bank and it raises questions about Australia's ability to police corporate corruption. Here's Rebecca Hyam.
Last Friday, 6 former executives of Securency and Note Printing Australia were arrested and charged for allegedly paying bribes worth millions of dollars to officials in Vietnam, Malaysia and Indonesia in exchange for contracts to manufacture banknotes. And now attention has turned to Austrade.
Inherently, the Austrade has got a difficulty in that it has got to deal with and assist Australian businesses in many, many countries that have these difficult environments. And they are trying to assist as best they can, but it's not easy to understand where the line has to be drawn or just what the circumstances are which these companies are faced with.
A spokesman for Austrade says the organisation has cooperated extensively with the AFP and that the Federal Police have not laid criminal charges against any Austrade employee. The global organisation targeting corruption, Transparency International, says the bribery charges against Securency and Note Printing Australia are a damaging development for Australia's central bank.
It's not good for the Reserve Bank to be associated with this. To have had the interest, the equity interest in this, to have appointed people to the boards without adequate due diligence must be very worrying for the people at the Reserve Bank.
It's pretty embarrassing for the Reserve Bank for this to come out.
The RBA's issued a statement about the bribery charges against the companies and their former staff, pointing out that no one in the Reserve Bank had been accused of any wrongdoing. The statement also says the Reserve Bank regrets the governance arrangements in the companies at the time weren't able to detect the alleged behaviour that led to the charges. But Sandy Easterbrook says the boards of the two companies involve appointments by the Reserve Bank, so it should have been far more engaged with what was going on.
This particular situation here, the Reserve Bank, it's one of them is wholly owned by the Reserve Bank and the other is half owned by the Reserve Bank. So, it has a responsibility to make sure that its image is protected.
Michael Ahrens says Australia's been criticised for its failure to prosecute corruption cases and that its record of enforcement is one of the worst in the OECD.
I think it's taken far too long. I can understand some of the factors, difficulty of obtaining this very tough proof abroad in some of these countries, but you can't have these things drawn out as long as that just to get to this point. If it's taken 2 years to get to this point, how long extra will it take to get to a trial?
The AFP says it's likely further charges will be laid as part of the ongoing Securency investigation. For the Reserve Bank, the scrutiny is also expected to continue.